Hi everyone. It's just another update. Obviously I'm back at home now, which I'm really relieved about. Still really not feeling good. But I think the hospital environment, as I said, was really not helping me at all. Really pleased to get out of there. Just not getting any rest basically, because obviously people are coming in and out pretty much constantly. And I was hoping when I got back last night that I would pretty much just conk out and just like sort of sleep through being in my own bed again, but actually had a really bad night again. And it's basically these steroids that they put me on about a week and a half ago. They started me on it. It's called Dexamethasone. They started me on it to help with pain because obviously the cancer had spread to the liver, and the latest scan showed that in the liver it got worse, and that was making my pain worse. So that was kind of the reason why they said they gave it to me, was to help with that. But obviously it was at that kind of stage that I started feeling funny at home, or a few days after. Obviously it was when I got discharged last time. They took me off an anti-sickness pill first when I first went into the hospital, which I think was making me like so drowsy that I couldn't open my eyes. I think that made a difference initially, not really having that problem. But I still feel so strange. They are weaning it down, so basically I've taken one pill today of this dexamethasone, because basically they said you can't just stop it as steroid. You have to gradually take it down so that your body can get used to sort of producing its own steroids again. So I was on 4 pills a day. I took 4 pills at once a day. I think they were 2 each, so I was on like 8 milligrams. And then when I got admitted into hospital, they took it down after the first day or so. I asked them to reduce it because I knew that obviously something was not right, and it had to be the drugs because that's all that changed. So they did start to take it down. As I say, I've just taken 1 pill today, 2 milligrams. 2 milligrams, and that's it. But I've been doing a bit of reading on it because last night basically was like delusional all through the night. Sweating like profusely through the night, like a cold sweat all through the night, tossing and turning, really weird thoughts going through my head, thinking my husband was talking to me and he wasn't. Just seemed to go on forever, the night. And in the morning when I woke up, I had that real like buzzing feeling again. Like I was reading through the leaflet they actually gave us for that 1 pill that they've brought home. I'm just going to read what it actually says. So it says side effects to tell your doctor straight away. It says these can affect about 5 in every 100 people taking medicines like dexamethasone. So these are obviously very common. So it says feeling depressed, including thinking about suicide, feeling high, mania, or moods that go up and down, feeling anxious, having problems sleeping, difficulty in thinking or being confused and losing your memory, feeling, seeing or hearing things that do not exist, having strange and frightening thoughts, changing how you act, or having feelings of being alone. Obviously I've said as well that I've started having panic attacks as well as part of that. And it says if you have any of these problems, talk to your doctor straight away. Now that basically describes everything that's going on with me. I just find it really weird how when they give you these medicines, they kind of really flippantly give it to you. I know that they said it was trying to help with pain, but that information leaflet obviously makes it very clear that those types of quite serious side effects are actually really common. And when I've been in the hospital, it kind of felt like they were saying, oh, they did say, oh yeah, steroids can make you feel like that, but they didn't say, oh yeah, with this steroid, and what you're feeling is actually a common side effect or anything like that. Which in the hospital is kind of making me worse, because it's making me feel like I was losing my mind, because I just didn't understand why I'm feeling like this. But the more I've read into this steroid, I was looking up some forums this morning as well, and last night actually, and there's a lot of reviews on it where, not everyone to be fair, but there's a lot of reviews when you Google it, basically say that people say it just makes you go crazy. Like I read some things on there where people saying about a woman saying that she basically said to her husband to hide their steak knives in the kitchen because she felt like she was going to do something crazy. Like, and saying like their partners are basically just getting crazy, like aggressive, getting like really angry over nothing, having like no control over your feelings. It's making me very shaky as well at times. I tried to go downstairs and simply get a glass of water this morning when I woke up, and I just couldn't even manage that. I started really shaking. My whole body was like shaking. And I have been in the hospital for a week and haven't moved around much, which I guess could make you kind of a bit of a weakness, but not like that. And then I couldn't even get back up the stairs. I had to actually call up to my husband. He had to help me up the stairs, and I started like basically having a panic attack again. I just really regret actually letting them give it to me. I know you have to trust your doctors to help you, and you just kind of go with it, but I'll never ever have this drug again, because now, even looking online as well, the withdrawal, so when you're actually coming off it, although I'm weaning off it, it's probably going to take like quite a few days now for it to actually come out of my system. So I'm basically just going to have to put up with like all these side effects for probably another 4 or 5 days, which I'm not really looking forward to. Just makes you like cry for no reason as well. It's just really horrible. You get very confused, can't concentrate at all. As I say, everything I just said on that list basically are kind of the symptoms I'm having. And I just wish I never even started taking it. Just basically just got to get through it now and just kind of clear it out my system. Hopefully it won't be too long. But yeah, just a really horrible drug. So really just a word of warning. If anyone kind of is recommended to do that, or your doctors are, well, I guess any steroid really, because I didn't even want to go on steroids when they said it to me in the hospital, because I know that steroids are very strong drugs. With the fact that I'm already on a very strong opioid painkiller, because I'm still on this fentanyl patch to help with the pain, it just, I kind of know my own body, and I tend to be quite susceptible to things. Like, I hardly ever take any even paracetamols or anything. If I take a paracetamol or something like that, it tends to have quite a big, not a big effect, but I don't need to take a lot of stuff to get an effect from it. I'm quite susceptible to drugs, it seems, and I kind of know that from my own body, so just kind of wish that I'd been a bit stronger when they said about the steroids in the hospital. I did say I didn't want to, but they kind of convinced me into it a bit. The other thing I have to say as well, though, is the general experience of being in the hospital. One thing that I found really frustrating this time around is that there seems to be different departments for different things, and they don't talk to each other. So I had like a palliative care team which focused on basically trying to reduce my pain as much as possible. That's what they do. So they were kind of talking about the fentanyl patch and how to manage the pain. Then I had like a doctor who was part of the gynecological team, who was actually really excellent. She was really good. Basically, as soon as I went in the hospital, she said about taking me off the anti-sickness, because straight away she was like, yeah, I think that could be contributing to how you're feeling at the moment. Unfortunately, she's doing like 6 months in different roles, and right before I left, she said that she wouldn't actually be there when I went back, which was really disappointing. Because she was someone that actually listened to me, as in like really talk to me as a person rather than just like looking at a chart, looking at papers. She actually listened to like how I was saying, how I was feeling, and what was going on, and then try and treat me, which kind of sounds basic, but then there was and then I had another doctor, who I think was a junior doctor, who tended to come around most days just to see in general how I was. And he was the one who actually decided to give me the steroids. But like the palliative care team, it was like the day before I came out, I asked to speak to them because I was basically convinced that it was the fact that I've just got too many drugs in me that's making me feel all strange. So I wanted them to basically just go through it with me, be really clear as to what medicines I've started and when, because it has chopped and changed a lot over the last like 2 or 3 weeks. I've tried different things and put me on something and taken me off something else. I was really just trying to get clear in my head. And they started talking to me about the steroids, but then they were like, well, we haven't prescribed the steroids. It's the doctor that does that. And they didn't really seem to know. They started to say, oh yeah, you can wean off it. But then when the doctor came, he was like, well, the steroids are nothing to do with the palliative care team. That's to do with us. So I was like, well, surely when you're in hospital, there needs to be like someone actually overseeing your total care to keep track of what drugs you're actually being put on by different people, because obviously these are all individually alone strong drugs, and then they're mixing them up. And there wasn't really any one person who was actually taking the overall view and saying, well, you're on the anti-sickness, you're on the fentanyl, you're on the oxycodone liquid as well for pain, you're on steroids, and actually just looking at it all together and say, well, actually, from what we know about these drugs and the fact that you've been put on all these drugs like within a short space of time, would explain how you're feeling. But it's like no one really said that. They were all kind of saying, well, we just need to do checks, and your bloods are okay, so that's good, and your MRI was good. But to me, just I know I'm not a doctor, but as I said, just reading just that story leaflet there explains everything that I was saying to them about how I'm feeling. It seemed kind of obvious to me that it is the steroids that's making me feel like that. But when I was in the hospital, they didn't seem to be forthcoming. So yeah, just really a word of warning to people. Just be really, as much as you can, before you actually get put on any new drugs, see if you can actually find out a bit about them. I mean, I know, again, I'm not saying go and do your own, I'm not saying self-medicate. Obviously, there are qualified doctors, and you need to obviously listen to what they're saying. But I do also think it is important that you take a certain degree of control as to what's actually happening with your treatment. Which I normally would have everything written down, but because the drugs were affecting my concentration and my memory and everything like that, and my thought process, I just lost track of everything. So yeah, just really, if you can research a bit into it, or at least get them to tell you more about what common side effects are, so you can make an informed decision as to whether you're actually going to take their advice on which drugs they're going to give you. So yeah, basically, I'm just going to have to wait now. Over the next few days, as I say, from what I've seen online, it's going to take probably about 4 days for it to completely come out of my system. Obviously, it will be coming out gradually over that period, so hopefully it will get better each day, just as the time goes. But I'm still feeling really rough. I just need to get this drug out of my system, basically. because I really feel like if I get this out of my system, this steroid thing now, then I'll actually be feeling pretty much back to normal. I mean, I'm still not going to feel great because I'm going to have a certain degree of pain, but that is being managed by the fentanyl patch and paracetamol at the moment. So I just really want to get back to that stage where I just have a bit of pain. I can really cope with that. I would take that. Obviously, I don't want it to be pain like I had before because the pain did get out of control. But I feel like, as I say, the fentanyl and paracetamol we kind of found a balance with that now. Because I have reduced my fentanyl patch as well. I asked them to reduce it because, so I just think there's just too much drugs surging through my system, to be honest. And I really want to try and get by with as minimal drugs as possible. So my patch now gets changed every 3 days, and it's 75 milligrams of fentanyl patch. And then I take paracetamol every 6 hours. And I'm getting by with that at the moment. So just basically got to hold on for a few days. It is absolutely horrible. It's hard to explain if you've not experienced it as well, because you just feel kind of a bit out of touch with reality. But yeah, hopefully in a few days I should start to feel better. So at least I'm home. Positive is I'm home, and I'm going to be able to get some rest and feel a lot more comfortable at home in a better environment. So yeah, just got to get through the next few days. So I'll let you know how I get on. See you soon, guys. Bye.